Hello again, I am Luisfe and this is Let's Play Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, and since this is a boring section, I am going to read something for you. Yes, for you, especially for you. Blah 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 blah. Here it goes. Genesis. I have been a big Genesis fan ever since the release of their 1980 album, Duke. Before that, I didn't really understand any of their work. Though on their last album of the 1970s, the concept Laden and Then There Were Three, a reference to band member Peter Gabriel, who left the group to start a lame solo career, I did enjoy the lovely Follow You, Follow Me. Otherwise, all the albums before Duke seemed too artsy, too intellectual. It was Duke, Atlantic, 1980, where Phil Collins' presence became more apparent and the music got more modern. The drum machine became more prevalent and the lyrics started getting less mystical and more specific, maybe because of Peter Gabriel's departure, and complex, ambiguous studies of loss became instead smashing first-rate pop songs that I gratefully embraced. The songs themselves seemed arranged more around Collins' drumming than Mike Rutherford's bass lines or Tony Banks' keyboard riffs. A classic example of this is Misunderstanding, which not only was the group's first big hit of the 80s, but also seemed to set the tone for the rest of their albums as the decade progressed. The other standout on Duke is Turn It On Again, which is about the negative effects of television. On the other hand, Heath Ace is a song I just do not understand, while Please Don't Ask is a touching love song written to a separated wife who regains custody of the couple's child. Has the negative aspect of divorce ever been rendered in more intimate terms by a rock and roll group? I do not think so. Duke's Travels and Duke's End might mean something, but since the lyrics aren't printed, it's hard to tell what Collins is singing about, though there is complex, gorgeous piano work by Tony Banks on the latter track. The only bummer about Duke is Alone Tonight, which is too reminiscent of Tonight, Tonight, Tonight from the group's latest masterpiece, Invisible Touch, and the only example, really, of where Collins has plagiarized himself. Abacab, Atlantic, 1981. Was released almost immediately after Duke, and it benefits from a new producer, Hugh Patcham, who gives the band a more 80s sound. And though the songs seem fairly generic, there are still great beats throughout. The extended jam in the middle of the title track, and the horns by some group called Earth, Wind and Fire on No Reply At All are just two examples. Again, the songs reflect dark emotions and are about people who feel lost or who are in conflict, but the production and sound are gleaming and upbeat, even if the titles aren't. No Reply At All, Keep It Dark, Whodunit, Like It or Not. Mike Rutherford's bass is obscured somewhat in the mix, but otherwise the band sounds tight, and it's once again propelled by Collins' truly amazing drumming. Even at its most despairing, like the song Dodo, about extinction, Abacab musically is poppy and light-hearted. My favorite track is Man on the Corner, which is the only song credited solely to Collins, a moving ballad with a pretty synthesized melody plus a riveting drum machine in the background. Though it could easily come off any Phil solo albums because of the themes of loneliness, paranoia and alienation are overly familiar to Genesis, it evokes the band's hopeful humanism. Man on the Corner profoundly equates a relationship with a solitary figure, a bum, perhaps a poor homeless person. That lonely man on the corner, who just stands around, whodunit, profoundly expresses the theme of confusion against a funky groove. And what makes this song so exciting is that it ends with the narrator never finding anything out at all. Hugh Patcham produced next an even less conceptual effort, simply called Genesis, Atlantic, 1983. And though it's a fine album, A lot of it now seems too derivative for my tastes. That's all sounds like misunderstanding. Taking it all too hard reminds me of throwing it all away, and also seems less jazzy than its predecessors, and more of an 80s pop album, more rock and roll. Bad Jam does a brilliant job of producing, but the material is weaker than usual, and you can sense the strain. It opens with the autobiographical Mama. That's both strange and touching, though I could not tell if the singer was talking about his actual mother, or to a girl he likes to call Mama. That's All is a lover's lament about being ignored and beaten down by an unreceptive partner. Despite the despairing tone, it's got a bright sing-along melody that makes the song less depressing than it probably needed to be. That's All is the best tune on the album, but Phil's voice is strongest on House by the Sea, whose lyrics are, however, too a stream of consciousness to make much sense. It might be about growing up and accepting adulthood, but it's unclear. At any rate, its second instrumental part puts the song more in focus for me, and Mike Banks gets to show off his virtuosic guitar skills, while Tom Rutherford washes the track over with dreamy synthesizers. And when Phil repeats the song's third verse at the end, it can give you chills. Illegal Alien is the most explicitly political song the group has yet recorded, and their funniest. The subject is supposed to be sad, a wetback trying to get across the border into the United States, but the details are highly comical. The bottle of tequila the Mexican holds, the new pair of shoes he's wearing, probably stolen, and it all seems totally accurate. Phil sings in a brash, whiny, pseudo-Mexican voice that makes it even funnier, and the rhyme of fun with Illegal Alien is inspired. Just a Job to Do is the album's funkiest song, with a killer bass line by Banks, and though it seems to be about a detective chasing a criminal, I think it also could be about a jealous lover tracking someone down. Silver Rainbow is the album's most lyrical songs. The words are intense, complex and gorgeous. The album ends on a positive, upbeat note with "It's gonna get better." Even if the lyrics seem a tiny bit generic to some, Phil's voice is so confident, heavily influenced by Peter Gabriel, who never made an album this polished and heartfelt himself, that he makes us believe in glorious possibilities. Invisible Touch, Atlantic 1996, is the group's undisputed masterpiece. It's an epic meditation on intangibility, and at the same time it deepens and enriches the meaning of the preceding three albums. It has a resonance that keeps coming back at the listener, and the music is so beautiful that it's almost impossible to shake off, because every song makes some connection about the unknown or the spaces between people. Invisible Touch. Questioning authoritative control, whether by domineering lovers or by government. Land of Confusion, or by meaningless repetition. Tonight, tonight, tonight. All in all, it ranks with the finest rock and roll achievements of the decade, and the mastermind behind this album, along of course with the brilliant ensemble playing of Banks, Collins and Rutherford, is Hugh Padgham, who has never found as clear and crisp a sound as this. You can practically hear every nuance of every instrument. In terms of lyrical craftsmanship and sheer songwriting skills, this album hits a new peak of professionalism. Take the lyrics to Land of Confusion, in which a singer addresses the problem of abusive political authority. This is laid down with a group funkier and blacker than anything Prince or Michael Jackson, or any other black artist of recent years for that matter, has come up with. Yet, as danceable as the album is, it also has a stripped-down urgency that not even the overrated Bruce Springsteen can equal. As an observer of Love's Failing, Collins beats out the boss again and again, reaching new heights of emotional honesty in Too Deep. Yet, it also showcases Collins' clumsy, prankish, unpredictable side. It's the most moving pop song of the 1980s about monogamy and commitment, Anything She Does, which echoes the Jay Gales band Centerfold. But it's more spirited and energetic.